of the silver final.
And we're going to have to cut it short because they are already drafting. Oh,
Oh
my
my.
gosh. Yes, let's do this. Bam.
Let's
oh,
go!
Oh, I almost
Let's
did
go!
it. Oh, I almost did it, and I forgot to reset everything, so nobody looked at anything.
Was that a BAM I heard?
That was a bam, and I forgot to reset the draft, so it's all good. All
Oh,
right,
I was like,
we're fine. Just pretend that didn't happen. A strange
Pretend
feeling
what
washes
didn't
up.
happen?
Exactly. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run through the bans and picks real damn quick. So KrazyCaley starting off by banning Gallery, and KCM responding by banning, interesting choice, Courtyard.
Oh, this makes perfect sense. So Caley doesn't have a big problem with Gallery, but there's a lot of occlusion, which hurts the hardtails, and he knows that KCM likes it and picks it. He had good success on it, I think, in week 1 against Bloom, if I remember right, at least on some of the Spy games. So that's just a counterplay. It's not that he hates Gallery, it's that there are better options for him to play KCM. KCM, on the other hand, is just thinking, Caley just wants clean sniper games, and there's nothing cleaner than Courtyard. Caley's just going to split Courtyard and be happy with it for the most part, so I'm going to deny him that option. I want to mix it up.
Yep, sounds good. Let's see. KrazyCaley picking, probably not a surprise to most people, but picking Veranda. KCM answering with Balcony. Those are the double maps, or the doubled maps for this match. KrazyCaley picking probably his other specialized map, the Library. And finally, KCM finishing out with Modern. So we have basically the 3 biggest maps, Veranda, Library, and Modern, and then the smallest one, Balcony.
Yeah, this makes perfect sense. This shows off, first of all, KCM's versatility, that he would pick Balcony and then Modern, 2 polar opposite kind of maps. Caley, of course, picking just maps where you have to do a couple of hardtails, basically. It makes sense. I think he's stronger on Library than he is on Veranda. I think he's actually a little susceptible on Veranda. If you remember, in the finals last year, KCM kept the match alive with a big multi-hardtail win as Seek on Veranda. In particular. So whether Caley likes it or not, I actually think he might be a little more vulnerable there than on some of the other maps. The only real surprise here is that he decided not to ban Balcony or Modern. And KCM almost as if saying, if you're not going to ban the 2 I thought you were going to ban, I'm just going to pick them and make you play them.
Yep, so they are in the game now. Let's go ahead and join up. It looks like KrazyCaley is going to be spying first. Let me know when you 2 are loaded. I will whisper them, and I will say that they can get this show. Bam! Oh,
Let's do this!
Get this BAM on the road.
Get this BAM on the road.
For those of you who don't know, KrazyCaley versus KCM. This is a rematch of the grand finals of the SCL Season 3. And I think possibly one before that as well.
No, just the one. Season 1 was against Scientists, Season 2 was against Magicians, Season 3 was against KCM, although...
Scientist! I'd forgotten about that.
Because he doesn't play anymore. Yeah, that's why everyone forgets, right? And this is actually a big one for KCM. There's a bit of a logjam in Diamond right now. Third place is wild. Second place rather. That second spot in the finals, and maybe even first place, wildly up for grabs. And KCM would be right back in the thick of things. After a 1-2 start, he won his week 4 match. If he can win tonight, Diamond is going to be a free-for-all.
So Kledos claims that emojis work in the tool. Oh my gosh, they work. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for some interesting tool tips.
With great power, Hummus. With great power. Be very careful tonight.
It's alright.
All right.
So the players are just getting set up, going through their little free... This is going to be diamond level casting with diamond level tooltips for our diamond level players. Looks like they're getting ready. The game is loading. I'll let you 2 take it away. When the game begins.
Oh man, here we go. This is going to be one hell of a set. Starting things off with KrazyCaley on the spy versus KCM on the sniper here on Veranda, and we are off.
Caley as the spy first.
Starting things off at green bookcase.
Caley loves to do the action test transfer early on Veranda on either the green or the blue. He prefers the blue for sure. But either one, he likes to do this.
Lots of cover from these 2 conversations, but decides not to make anything of it. Winds up stepping in next to the ambassador with a book in the bugging hand.
I think if he were on the blue shelf, he would have done the action test, but because it's green and a little more visible, and I think Toby and the Amba might have been on that side too, thinks better of it, and is just going to hang on to it for now.
Oof! Ooh, 48%. It's still a green flirt, so it's a strong start, but not in range to get it done in 2. KrazyCaley playing fairly slow with this book. Oh, just taking it to red bookcase. Nope, I thought it was going to red, just winds up back in conversation. The ambassador drops by and hands him a bug on a silver platter.
Not seen.
KrazyCaley will take that every single day. Another flirt coming in, we're at 82%. That's 2 completions, most of the flirt, and a green book in hand. Very good start from Caley.
I think we're about 5 or 6 seconds away from him going into that red shelf and just trying to finish this real early.
I'm a little bit worried about hitting that red shelf. It might be the way to go here. 2 minutes and 15 about left to play.
Still hasn't done it. This is interesting. When I saw the bug into the banana bread, into the seduce, it really seemed like a waterfall effect, like he's just going to start chaining missions together. But instead, takes his foot off the gas.
I think he wanted that timer flirt and then was going to go to the red bookcase, but since he doesn't get it, he goes right into red.
And there it is.
Not getting shot for it, so that was a fairly clean microfilm.
Well, that was a quick putback. It would not shock me if KCM is onto it from that alone. That was too quick, frankly. I think at that point you are being seen. You know you're being seen. You're not trying to get rid of it so quickly that you're not seen. You're not trying to cheese it. Probably want to wait a couple cycles there.
It is possible that this doesn't work, but he's too close for it to wind up being 17%. So the flirt does wind up finishing off. Minute and 25 left to play, 1 completion. Might be a bit behind the curve to try to get some fingerprint shenanigans going.
Yeah.
Statues terrify me. What's the plan here?
Purloiner swap. I just can't imagine he's going to try to fingerprint or inspect, but it depends on how suspicious he thinks he is. If he doesn't think he's a huge suspect, you just go to statues twice late and dare him to shoot you with an uncertain shot.
Fairly slow character. 1 minute left to play.
This is not a good spot to purloin, so I think he's just working his way up to a statue visit. Yep, there it is.
Steps into the front-facing statues first.
Yep, that's what I thought.
He just goes. He just went in for it. He just went in for it. 5 seconds, sees it. The highlight. That's not a shot. And KrazyCaley takes the first game.
That's so I'm actually not surprised. If he'd gone to the back statue, I would have been waiting for a green. But when he goes to the front, I was thinking, no, the whole point of this is to swap in their face and say, would I really do this? Would I do this? Caley loves the front-facing swap on veranda far more than most spies. Did it right there. I think that's the kind of thing that you could be ready for, though, knowing his tendencies.
That highlight, man. But we're already into the next game.
Yeah, that's a rough one there. You can't really do a lot about the bug, and the microfilm isn't too bad to miss either, but the swap is really the problem there. You got to be able to catch that.
Relatively slow start here from KCM.
Well, time ad.
Well, yeah, he does have the time ad. Not wrong with that.
It was a white, so he left windows very quickly, but it was still obviously in the midst of everything else happening, so pretty sure it was free.
Almost always are in the time of chaos if you don't immediately die for it. Starting things out at blue bookcase after that time ad comes off is doing some animation transfer here. Starts things off by picking up the green test over on the blue side. That's the easy part done.
Yeah, the action test at the blue bookcase, pretty easy to get away with by itself for sure.
First flirt coming off at 30%. Not the number you're looking to see, to be sure. 2 off of in 3 flirt range. Minute and 20 on the clock. KCM's got plenty of time. Blue film in pocket and 30% on the first flirt. Would like to hit a green test on one of these next 2, or else it's going to wind up being 4, which is never fun. Another time ad, this time a green test.
I like it. So one of the things about Caley is, sometimes you can put him in a position where he just feels obligated to shoot, two statue visits, for example, in conversation with the DA. If you're KCM, I think maybe you're thinking, I want to force AIs to do more. I want to force them to go to statues. I want to force them to pick up fingerprints. Although so far, it doesn't look like they're obliging much. I don't see a lot of statue visitors.
Another green test here on the microfilm at the green bookcase. That's one mission completion completely under the radar, and it was a hard tell. That is not the situation Caley wants to be putting himself in.
Right, but he did put himself in the situation where, because it's veranda, he's going to have to do something else too. So he's still not out of the woods here, but a lot of cover from that conversation means that the microfilm does look pretty safe here. At most, he's going to be able to remember that he was at two different shelves.
Second flirt and a second white test. It's only 64%, which means we're not in range to finish on a close white. We have to hit a green if we want to three flirt here. Luckily, we do still have 2 minutes and 45 to play. Ooh, green purloin coming off of the conversation there, and a white contact to distract. The list is now gone. I don't know if Caley knows yet. Getting all of these lowlights. Meanwhile, Toby's walking around with an empty tray. Might have seen it just there.
Yeah, so here's the problem now. If you're KCM, you've put the party in a position where Caley's probably going to have to fire here near the end if some people go to statues, which I'm not sure has really been happening.
Look at how many people are low lit here.
Yeah, now some of these are obviously not going to be hard low lights. Casey, I'm moving around a lot, though. I'm really worried about the statue visit right now. Some of these are not hard. I think it's just deduction. He's basically just saying, I missed the purloin. I need to get some low lights out of this. I just don't think this person did it. He's swapping.
He's swapping. Look at the party. There's two neutral lights and KCM, who's highlight. That's the only people left. The shot comes off for the swap. And KrazyCaley playing with a really strong 2-0 start here.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty darn good game from KCM. I don't know if I like the swap or not with the flirt not done, certainly, because with 98% left, you were going to have to survive for quite a while after that. I think he's doing the swap with the idea that the same thing is going to happen to Caley that happened to him, which is he's going to see the swap, but he's only going to have a flirt left, and it's not going to be enough to shoot for. What he didn't realize is that Caley had gotten a lot of correct lowlights after the purloin. If you assume he gets a few from the purloin, but only has a few suspects left, that's probably going to work. But when he gets that many lowlights, there's really nothing else to look at.
Wow. KrazyCaley up 2-0 to start his rematch versus KCM here. And now he's back in the spy role with KCM on the sniper. And remember, this is where KCM pulled out all the stops against Caley in the
Instant
Season
swap.
3 finals. Instant swap. I think it gets off.
Yep. This is Caley's style. Caley's basically going to say, I'm going to win so many of my sniper games that I might as well just go YOLO as spy, and occasionally it's going to work. He's not trying to win all his spy games. He's not trying to win each spy game individually. He's trying to do enough and throw enough stuff at the wall out of 5 or 6 games that 1 or 2 of them will win.
And this clearly works for him. The purloin comes off, gets a
I don't think he's seen it yet. I don't think KCM's seen it yet.
This has been beautiful for KrazyCaley so far. Does take a highlight there.
I don't think he's going to win this game.
Hasn't seen the tray yet. Now he does. I don't think he's gotten a good angle. Now he has, so he knows the list is gone, but he doesn't know where he came from. KrazyCaley's back at statues. He's got 4 mission completions. The contact, the swap, the inspect, the purloin, all done. Now he just has to flirt, and he has 2 minutes and 45 seconds to do it.
KCM highlight him. Oh dear, that's a problem.
Oh!
Here's why that's surprising. KCM highlight him before he went to statues there. I thought that was for a purloin, but I think at this point he's talked himself out of it.
I think KCM feels like he's behind and had to take some risky lowlights, and one of those wound up, in all likelihood, losing him this game. This could very well be KrazyCaley up 3-0 over KCM.
Yeah, it could, and on a lot of marginal stuff, it's interesting here. That was a white purloin. A white purloin, too, and KCM just didn't notice for a good 10 to 12 seconds, didn't zoom in on the list either, not that it was terribly visible.
KCM doesn't usually go immediately for the guest list. If he's watching something else, he'll let the guest list go, miss what the fade looks like, and go check the tray afterwards. But KrazyCaley putting in the contact right after it happened kept KCM busy for long enough that by the time he finally came back around, it was too late.
I mean, look, it's the classic dilemma. When you hit the banana bread, the value of those hard lowlights is weighed against the possibility that it's going to be used to cover something. And you never know which to prioritize necessarily. In this case, he prioritizes the wrong one, doesn't catch it in time, and takes a risky lowlight later. And now Caley can just flirt to win.
KrazyCaley playing so strong right now. It's 85% on the flirt. This game is all but over.
Now, I'm a little more surprised, by the way, that he wasn't being watched closer when the purloin happened, simply because he could have rushed that swap. You know,
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier that it's easy to kind of forget that near the end of the game, but it wasn't very long after that statue rush. So, you know, there's a reason to look at them a lot closer.
That is a very good point. But with that, KrazyCaley takes the first three games, of this match versus KCM. And now,
Toba, you're going a little
as
low,
we
buddy.
head in,
We're losing your audio there, bud.
bad. Sometimes my internet just freaks out for a few moments without any reason. I am in the next game.
Now you sound better now. So
keep going. I'll get
sounds
back.
good.
Okay, cool. All right, we got there.
Technically, you hate to say must win about a game that's not actually match point, but let's be honest, you can't fall behind 4-0 here. This is it.
Yeah, you can come back from a one set deficit. You can. It's very hard to come back from two.
Against anyone.
Oh, that's a swap. A swap just happened right at the front statue, right after KCM got highlight for being at that statue. Even if Caley notices this late, if he notices it, he might just shoot KCM on the spot, but it looks like he hasn't been hit for it. Oh, never mind. Low lights, and it's down to 2 or 3.
Yeah. I think it's less than that, because here's the thing. It wasn't even a fake green where he went after someone else and you count on him not to notice the fade and not be sure. In this case, there was nobody at that statue before him that I can recall.
Yeah.
So what all Caley's really doing here is he's saying, you know what? I can be careful here. I'm just going to leave everyone who's been to any statue because I've marked them already. I'm sure of that. But he's probably got a decent idea of who was where. At the very least, he remembers that there were 2 people at that set of statues. I think it was with Sari, or it was next to him. So he might not be sure about that part, but he's probably pretty sure. He's probably got it down to 2, frankly, but he's just going to play it safe.
Man, oh man.
I think at minimum you need to do a banana bread with one of these statue visitors in with you.
If that bug had taken, it might have really bailed out KCM there, but it didn't wind up happening. Another opportunity there, this time, is in the middle of a talking animation, so I can't afford to right-click under the circumstances. I don't know if there's a way back into this game for KCM.
No, and again, I just don't see it. I understand forcing the sniper, particularly a sniper like Caley, he wants to be sure when he shoots. I understand, taking that all-in risk and trying to fake a green or a white, but you do it late in the game. You force them into that coin flip decision, and if they guess right, they guess right. So be it. But those are odds you'll take against a great sniper. But early in the game, with no one having been there before, I mean, what are you hoping? Are you hoping that the guy who's most known for camping didn't memorize the easiest statues to see? One free low light.
And just gets caught for a bug. That's all it wound up being in the end.
Now
you know what? You know what's amazing to me? After all that, saying that KCM probably didn't have a way back into that game, after everything went so terribly wrong, that one bug that happened in the middle, where he just went for a possible reverse drive-by as a Hail Mary to a shot to nothing, basically, with no risk. If that had taken, KCM wins that game. and is not down 4-0.
All right. Well, because Sorry was in with an SDA too, so it was not a dispositive banana bread at the end. But I've got to say, even down 4-0, this is the kind of map you want to play if you're KCM with a huge deficit. Crazy stuff can happen on balcony.
Oh my gosh. Like, I knew this set was going to be good, but I did not expect Caley to come out 4-0 off the break. Now we're in the balcony. KrazyCaley's on the spy side. And this is where KCM can very easily start making some time back. We'll see how it goes. Starts things off with a green flirt. Nice and close for 51%. On track for the 3 green gain. But not now. Now it's a white test on the contact. And lets off a low light while he's at it.
It's not great, but if you hit a green here, I still think you win.
Yeah, I think you're right. Highlight for the white contact and lots of talking going on, so.
KCM is not a paranoid sniper on balcony, by which I mean he is willing to wait out those flirts. He really is, and it's usually to his credit. But it does mean that if you can hit a 2 flirt on him on balcony, you're usually going to win.
The rotation cooldown has expired. The conversation is looking very good to make sure the seduction target gets nice and snuggly when she re-enters. And look at that perfect positioning.
And
it is a green test on the second flirt.
When it rains, it pours.
KrazyCaley.
Yeah, this is not something KCM would normally shoot for.
He's thinking about it, but he's not in time. Nope. KrazyCaley takes the first 5.
Yeah,
this is insane.
Yeah, some of them have been very close, but at this point, the hole is just too big. Yeah, and if you're KCM, you're probably just gonna go for it here. And I mean, what are you hoping to do? Tilt him with a bug? You know, that's about it. If you're trying to win as many games as possible, you know, just to make the best of it, you play a standard game. If you're trying to go Hail Mary, tilt him or something, you bug in his face, I guess. Good BB though. Oh wow!
To keep in mind, only one of players in all of SpyParty. And does get a big win on the spy side off what may have been a possible clean bug from that weird idle animation. I'm not sure what else that could have been for such an early shot.
I think that's what it was, yeah. I think we've seen 2 examples of that one night.
6-1. KCM is on the board. KrazyCaley back in the spy shoes. Bug contact. KCM's got 2. Bug.
They're going so fast I can't keep up with the scoreboard.
Contact.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine. We're good.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it right now. If KCM wins this game, I'm gonna start to get a little excited.
Man, this set has been so crazy. KCM starting things off with a window flirt. Lots of people at that window.
That was a risk. He checked his watch, and Alice sipped her glass. That's a big one. That gave him time to get it. But look at this. Caley is onto it, though. He's highlighted the 3 window flirters.
Oh, boy.
I think a white BB alone could lose this game now.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, back to neutral light, though.
That's interesting. No. You know, try not to keep up with the highlights and lowlights too much. That's big. Alice was talking during it. This is big.
Test on the green test. White test on the second flirt, but green test on the contact.
And Alice was talking during, and yeah. Now Twin goes back down though for that. And at this point, I don't know. I don't know if he can shoot for a timer flirt here. It's going to be tough.
Oh man, this set is so nuts.
Well, it could be in a second if this flirt comes off without a shot. What you really want is Alice to be busy.
Very much so. 40 seconds left to play. We just need that one flirt. There's the cooldown expired. There's the talk. There's the flirt being completed. I don't see Caley
Not yet.
take a shot here. Low light's coming off. This is KCM's game. And now, after KrazyCaley's run of 5, KCM is on a run of 3.
They played 4 games on a giant, long map that takes forever to play. And basically, Kaylee jumped out to a 5-0 lead, and over the course of maybe 4 minutes, KCM was won 3 games.
And now I can breathe as we go to a larger map. Whew. That was some crazy spy. That's I think why people love balconies. Just the absolute kind of insanity and shenanigans that can be pulled off. And speaking of shenanigans, I believe Library is the map we're going to. Yeah, which is another map that a lot of shenanigans can be pulled from.
Man, this is Shenanigans City, USA, as KrazyCaley steps into the spy side for a super early time ad. KCM on the sniper. KCM only down by 2 games now.
Yeah, and this isn't the game that matters yet. Obviously, you can't afford to drop this, but the next game is going to be key. If you can sweep this, you've made your way all the way back thanks to the balcony craziness.
Fairly slow start from KrazyCaley, just now getting ready to pick up his first flirt, and Bastard gets nice and snuggly, so we might be able to get some
you don't want to do it here.
Shenaniganry as far as the bug is concerned. There it is, there's the shot!
It was so obvious from the sniper cam that he was watching that. He watched it for 4 or 5 seconds, then he moved away, then he whipped back. He was watching for a little while, and then he was trying to bait it. He was all over that.
Yeah, and KrazyCaley took the bait. Now KCM is back in this again. It's 5-4. KrazyCaley might be slipping away from him as KCM's on a huge comeback. If he can win this game as Spy, it's tied at 5.
This is the big one, though.
What is happening?
Well, so it's a little misleading.
What was that?
Yeah, it's a little misleading because this is the real question. This is the game that matters more than that last one, obviously. It was nice that it was such a quick, definitive game, though. It wasn't even close. But this is the one that matters.
Flirt at the green bookcase comes off for a white test for 34%. And we pick up a green book to do something with. It is going to be animation transfers on screen. Caley says it. Oh my god, these games are still going so fast. And now KrazyCaley is on match point.
Yeah, I don't like that. I think with Library here, you really want to switch it up and go back to a long, drawn-out game there. I know that's sort of like a meta-level decision, and KCM's broader game planning has been really strong the last handful of games anyway, even when it hasn't worked out. But I'm a little surprised that he was quite that aggressive there. Exactly.
Oh, man. Okay.
I think you speak for all of us there, Tobo.
KrazyCaley on 6, KCM on 4. We're going into Modern for the final 2 games, and KCM needs both of these. KrazyCaley starting things off with an early time and way out in the corner.
And this is a weird map. You know, obviously it's going to be hard to win both if you're KCM, but it's a weird map. So just like Balcony, you're kind of hoping that just lack of familiarity here maybe helps you out. But first, you got to take care of business here.
Very, very nice to see that early timeout from KrazyCaley. Gives him a lot more room to work. What is with these window visits?
Well, so Kaylee is going to ignore that and focus on the hardtails if he were sniping. But KCM absolutely would lowlight for a lot of early inactivity. I think Kaylee's just going to try to make it difficult on him. I think he's just going to say, I want a lot of statue visitors. I want a lot of fingerprints. And, you know, you do run out of time surprisingly quick on Modern. I think he's just going to give himself options here. This works with both. So early time ads lend themselves both to framing and, in this case, completing missions, if he can make steady progress.
And KrazyCaley got away with 2 of them unscathed as he steps in for his first flirt for 51%. Now stepping into the conversation with the double agent, looking for a great time to contact, and this is it. Hits the green test. 3, 4 lowlights, and that is all. And highlights Kaylee for it as well. That's
well
a
done.
Great play from KCM.
Yeah, KCM actually, I would say, went from being in a little bit of trouble there for a moment to be looking pretty good.
This is, yeah. Being able to find that highlight is enormous. And even with the flirt done and 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to play, this is not looking so bad for KCM. That was a very strong contact, especially on this map. But man, oh man, did KCM ever capitalize.
Yeah, so it's mostly a strong contact because if there's 4 possible lowlights, you can't really count on getting all of them. Maybe you get 2 or 3, in which case you'll absolutely take that. But 4 is fine. That's fine for KCM
Yeah.
too, because he got them all. He really got the most out of what it was a pretty good banana bread. But the highlight, you're right, bigger than a couple of those lowlights combined, I would say.
So what do we do now? We still have 3 minutes to play. We can afford to spend some time idling, and it looks like that's what Caley wants to do. Try to make himself as inconspicuous as possible here, but long games tend to favor KCM, who is very good at eliminating suspects.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess, yeah, he's trying to be as inconspicuous as a giant glowing man can be.
Now, the silver lining for KrazyCaley here is that no matter what happens, he's already secured a draw.
Right, and that's kind of Kaylee's thing. You know, I mentioned earlier that he just wants to win basically every sniper game, throw a lot at the wall, spy, and hope a little bit of it gets through. And then if he takes care of business on the sniper side, then it's at least a draw, and you know that'll work. You know, and that happened last year. He didn't lose a game last year, but he did have 3 draws. Kaylee's fine with that, especially against someone of KCM's caliber.
Well, that game plan sure as heck fell apart tonight, but it's working out for him anyways. Fake contact? Everybody in conversation, I think, except for low-lit people.
Hare leaves just a fraction of a second before, and KCM correctly lowlights her. That was a close one, but he was watching very closely because everyone was in conversation. No one was at mission sites.
May as well, but so much idling. We're down to 1 minute and 45 left on the clock. What is Kaylee's plan here?
Normally, if you're going to frame on a modern game, you would at least try to get a purloin up. It's really easy to not shoot when basically nobody's been to statues twice and the guest list is still there.
It was an attempt at a reverse drive-by bug there, basically a shot to nothing. Didn't wind up taking, but it was pretty free. Oh boy. Yeah, I think Kaylee's all in on not completing missions at this point. I think Caley saw himself get highlighted for that contact early on and thinks he's very suspicious and is trying to make it so he doesn't get shot no matter what happens. The reverse drive-by bug takes 3 completions at this point, 40 seconds on the clock. What's the play here? Do we go for a... It looks like we're going to go for a delegate.
I think it has to be delegate and then into swap. That's all I can really imagine happening here.
Delegate into swap. We've got 25 seconds left on the clock. This is going to be really, really tight as far as the time is concerned. We've got 10 seconds to get the swap off.
Oh, immediate delegate. Maybe just take it immediately. Yep.
That's what he does. And
All
immediately gets shot for it. KCM on the spy side of Modern, playing for a draw after being down 5 games to nothing. KrazyCaley desperately trying to close out this win in the final game of this SCL match.
You would hate to call a tie or let alone a loss and say that something like that feels like a moral victory, but my goodness, what a comeback. I don't know how this is going to end, and this is actually a pretty tough road to hoe here, man. Modern is actually very hard for the spy to win against a good sniper. It really is. So you think just one spy game, okay, but it's not a spy game on balcony. It's not a spy game on ballroom. It's not even a spy game necessarily on courtyard. This is a tough map to win against someone like Caley.
Oh my God, this set is so good.
Yeah. Now there are openings. If I'm KCM, I want to do microfilm in this game, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would lean towards. I think I would make that your second hardtail with the purloin. But you got to be careful because even though her purloin is hard to track on this, Caley can do it.
All right, here we go. Final game of this set. KCM on the spy side fighting for a draw. KrazyCaley on the sniper side fighting for a win. And it looks like KCM is gunning for that early flirt.
Yeah, now if you're the kind of person who tracks flirts, actually, you can make mincemeat out of people on this map. I know Noob loves to do it in particular because it's so obvious when you chase someone across the map to flirt or when there's two people in a giant conversation. There's so much space that people standing next to each other is that much more conspicuous. But against someone like Caley, just be aggro about it. Just chase, flirt, and that's what he's going to do right here at the bar.
Slight distance to start things off. It was only 32%, but gets nice and snuggly on the second. Gets himself up to 66. So if we get really close, we're guaranteed a 3 flirt at this point. We are going to pick up a delegate here as well. Lots of activity at the bar. Alice, we don't know is a suspected double agent, but we do have our seduction target to work with. So we could be able to seduce and then delegate. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Ooh, a little bit of a missed pad for KCM there, but it doesn't look like it got caught. There's the delegate coming off.
I don't know. I'm a little worried. My prediction here is that he's not going to get shot for this, but that Caley's going to do a surprisingly good job of narrowing the party down from him. And that's going to
was in conversation with Alice, was one of the people at the bar, but Alice was a suspected double agent. KCM gets high lit for that purloin immediately. Low lights, low lights, low lights. This is so hard.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. There just wasn't enough going on. You really need to be in a giant conversation when it happened, maybe with maybe two or more possibilities. I think at this point, and look at this, and not enough mission progress. Either Salmon's going to help you out a lot, or you're going to get shot, I think. I don't see how he can get away with mission wins at this point.
The only other person who was at the bar at the time was Salmon. Banana split coming off as the contact is complete. Yeah. Caley not ready to shoot yet.
No, because Salmon wasn't at a conversation. He wasn't at a conversation, but he was still. But he wasn't with an SDA either. That's the real problem. Now, what's interesting though is an SDA was walking by the back of the conversation just as it happened. I wonder if Caley is not sure whether or not he was in when it happened.
KCM.
Big moment right here.
Second statue visit. How does KrazyCaley play this? He's keeping a close eye on that statue to make sure no swaps have occurred. The swap has occurred, but it is a green, so Caley doesn't know yet. 1 minute to play.
Unless Salmon picks this up. I just don't see how it works.
Unless
it has to be Salmon.
Salmon does this.
He's gonna he's gonna keep his attention on the Amba. He's gonna make him stare at the Amba, and he's probably gonna shoot him though when the overtime happens anyway.
Yep, there's the shot.
There it is.
Look at this framing at the end here. Can see the statue and the ambassador at the same time.
Yep, just enough. It's an unfortunate angle, really. I think if he hadn't, I mean, it's exactly like I said. I think he's going to get too many lowlights from the purloin. He's going to narrow it down, and then it's going to be almost impossible to win. KCM, again, just like a metaphor for the entire match, in that game, KCM backs himself into a corner and still just doesn't quite, but somehow almost pulls it out. But it's just not enough. I think that's a better, some of those moves are just a little better at the end of the game.
Oh my God, Track. That set was incredible.
So yeah, if you look at some of the results from KCM and you look at that hole he was in and everything, and you think, what's the big deal? I've heard about this guy. What is going on? Well, I don't understand why everyone's so scared. You found out why immediately afterwards. You cannot sleep on this guy. And I think Caley probably knew that. Caley, by the way, saying in the lobby, he really thought Papa Danger was the purloiner.
Really?
So it sounds like if Papa Danger had maybe been slightly more accommodating, that might have actually worked.
Oh, man. Oh, man, that was nuts.
Yeah, so they're talking about it a little bit now in lobby, and KCM's pointing out that Alice could have delegated to him as well, and Caley pointing out Alice was cast. So that's a little bit of rough luck there. KCM is basically trying to frame someone for the delegate who could not have possibly done it. Would have been interesting to see what would have happened if that was not the case, and then there were 3 highlights at the end of the game instead of 2.
Yeah, especially because of the possible Alice frame.
That's interesting, though. Caley's saying he's not sure at all who did the purloin, but the lowlights tell a different story. A lot of lowlights came off very, very quickly. Now, it's
Well,
entirely...
KCM. KrazyCaley may not have been sure who did it, but he was sure as hell confident who didn't.
Right. Yeah. I think it's entirely possible those were, you know, like we say, aggressive lowlights. If you're really worried and you don't know who did it, you're going to take those aggressive lowlights and make the best of it. But a lot of them came off very quickly, so maybe he's saying I'm not sure in a very literal sense. Maybe not. It might not have been positive. Let's put it that way.
Wow. All right. Well.
Yeah, with that, let's get us into our
Well,
next game. I'm gonna actually talk for a
I
bit
have to
more
call
while I
it-
remember to.
I will. I have to call tonight after this, unfortunately. I'm an old man who needs his sleep, unfortunately. So I hope, Hummus, you don't mind taking over.
That's fine. Oh, hey, Track.
Yes.
What if I told you
I can't escape it.
that the concept of a galactic year is when our sun orbits once around the center of the Milky Way, and it takes about 225 to 250 million of our Earth years to accomplish that.
My response would be to completely ignore that and say that KrazyCaley is now 4-0-1 in Diamond. He is not lost. He just has a draw. A draw in week 3 against Bloom. Caley alone at the top of Diamond right now with 9 out of a possible 10 points in Diamond, of all things. But as in typical Caley fashion, when you look at the matches, they're just close. They're just not blowouts. That's not his style. He won, you know, kind of comfortably in week 1 against Canadian Bacon 7-3, but he beat Magician 7-5. Then he tied. He beat me 7-4, and then we never played the final sniper game, so, you know, 7-5. And tonight 7-5. This is KrazyCaley's thing. He's not going to try to trick you. He's not going to try to beat you up. He's just going to try to barely beat you. And that's what he did again tonight.
It almost went terribly wrong. But oh man, is KrazyCaley ever a powerful SpyParty player?
We saw 2, you know, exceptional players tonight, and with contrasting styles. It's so weird to see them play so differently at times and still be so evenly matched in the end. If you're walking away from this, you know, if you're KCM and you're looking for silver linings, you're thinking, I was able to get several spy wins there, and if I just hadn't given away a sniper game or 2, I absolutely could have done this. You have to walk away from this thinking, I can break that dam, you know, the sniper stronghold that he's got. If you're Caley, you're thinking, you know, I hung on tough. KCM threw a lot of stuff at me, and I still came out on top. But both of them are absolutely going to be studying these games afterwards before they play again in just a couple of weeks, week 7. But they can both find something to like and something to hate about tonight.
Absolutely. All right.
Awesome. Well, actually, it looks like Kletos may be stepping in